Let me start by saying that I would like to thank all the speakers that have been here today. But then again, it's the end of the day. My voice is not very good, but I will try to do my best. I was asked by Mark Donfried and the ICD, someone who I am very grateful, and we have a very good relationship with him, asked me to come here, and I said immediately, just tell me what time and what day I'm supposed to be there. So here I am. Thank you. Let me start by saying that this is real. What you see right there is a little piece of land on the Caribbean Sea of Honduras. Basically, for those that you really would like to know where Honduras is really specifically, we're in the heart of the Americas. The heart of the Americas, where we actually see Honduras right there. And we literally connect the north with the south. If Honduras wouldn't exist in Central America, you cannot have an American continent together. Really, that's one of the reasons why we're in the heart of the Americas. We're a very privileged piece of land because we have a coastline that is about 500 miles, and we have an ocean we have a coast with the Caribbean and a coast with the Pacific. We have 40% of our land is underwater, really. We have lots of rivers, lots of lagoons, a lake, and 40% of the territory of Honduras, which is a total of 112,492 square kilometers, literally 40% of that land is underwater. It's amazing, but people know very few facts about Honduras. So we have one of the most important coral reefs in the whole wide world, the most important in the Western Hemisphere, and the second most beautiful coral reef in the whole wide world. The first one is Australia. Quick facts. I already told you that the fact that Honduras is 112,492 square kilometers. We have two languages officially. One is Spanish and the other one is English on the Caribbean island of Roatan, Utila, and Guanaja. In addition to that, we have a yearly medium range of temperature of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that? About 28, 33 centigrades. And we have 4 international airports working on a 5th right now, which, by the way, it's being constructed in conjunction with a German company called Flughafen München. So soon to be 5 international airports. We have a great connectivity by having Puerto Cortés, a very important port, one of the most important ports in Central America, actually. And between Puerto Cortés in the south, we have another port in the south, and we have like the dry channel between the Caribbean and the Pacific. We also have the Port of Roatan, Banana Coast Port, and the Mahogany Port Bay. The international airports are Golosón in La Ceiba, Toncontín in Tegucigalpa, Juan Manuel Galvez in Roatan, and Ramón Villeda Morales in San Pedro Sula. But then again, soon we're going to have a 5th international airport. The national airports, Tela Airstrip, Celaque Airstrip, and Rio Amarillo Airstrip. We have our country connected by air. We may not be connected entirely by land, by roads or train, but rather we are interconnected by air. What is there to offer? Obviously, the Bay Islands, what I told you before, one of the most beautiful coral reefs in the whole wide world. Right now, we have approximately 500 miles of beaches between the Caribbean and the Pacific. The most important islands in the Caribbean for us are Roatan, Utila, and Guanaja, like I told you. We have a great international segment of the population of tourism that is traveling through the boats and as well as air. The Bay Islands are an ideal destination of white sand beaches and invite travelers to sunbathe and enjoy. Honduras is also the Gulf of Fonseca in the South Pacific coast, and between the two oceans, a wealth of rivers, waterways, and lakes where the visitor can find whitewater rafting and kayaking opportunities. Really, come to sunbathe in Roatan and one of the beaches that we have. We can be found in the news in most of the important sites of news, such as CNN, Forbes, Travel and Leisure, as well as others. Basically, if you see those stats, don't tell the ambassadors of Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Panama that I showed you this, because in reality, we're the only country that has everything complete, which is archaeology, living culture, beaches, diving, nature, colonial sites. We have a great infrastructure of roads, and we are expanding by leaps and bounds, not only in the capital, but also in the south, in the center, in the north. And we are very proud of what we're doing. Before, in order to reach the south, the Pacific side from the Caribbean side, it would probably take about 7 hours. Now you can easily reach one side to the other in less than 5 hours. Building a great super road, which is basically like a dry channel, not like the Panama Canal by water, but we have a super road that is being constructed. We also have other attractions in Honduras, such as a botanical garden, attractive natural landscapes, coral reefs around the bay provide activities year-round inspired of climate changes. Diving, deep sea, wrecks, sharks, snorkeling. We have dolphins as well. Excellent diving sites, highly ranked worldwide, golf courses, canopy tours, and dolphin camp programs for kids. Really, Honduras counts with one of the healthiest in Mesoamerica coral reefs. Otherwise, when you go to other countries, they're basically have been exploited a little bit much. The marine area, with an impressive 69% coverage, according to some experts, is preserved still, and marine life during the past 30 years. The ecotourism, we have cloudy forests, national parks, wildlife shelters, bird watching, rafting activities, canopy, thermal waters. We have a whole array of cultures in Honduras. Honduras counts with the presence of 7 ethnic groups of indigenous origins, Black and Caucasian, located across the country and well-versed in their own dialects. Their authentic traces and multicultural diversity is to be appreciated, as well as their customs, traditions, and music and art. Thank you very much. I hope that this end of the day will give you a better perspective as to where you can take your next vacation. I'm talking about Honduras.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We really hope so. If you let us to invite the audience for questions and comments, maybe you would like, to ask.
Hi, sorry, I know you, welcome. I know it's the end of a long day. I just have one question. Hello. You mentioned your beautiful reefs. Now, in order to, do you have any legislation to protect the reef so it doesn't die out like the Great Barrier Reef in Australia?
As a matter of fact, yes, we do. Okay. Under the United Nations umbrella, we do have that. As a matter of fact, we have a sanctuary for sharks, dolphins, and other marine life, including our coral reef.
Okay, thank you.
And where are you from?
I'm from North America, U.S.
Okay. Where about?
New York.
You're a New Yorker. There's
Yes,
a
I
direct
have.
flight between New York and the Bay Islands, as well as Atlanta and the Bay Islands. So for you, it should be easy to go there.
I love Latin America, so yeah, now Honduras is on my list.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brimby from Zimbabwe via London, or the other way around, I'm not sure. But did you have particular reasons for deciding to be connected by air instead of roads?
Money. We have lots of mountains, and in order to build a road through the mountains, you have to do tunnels like in Switzerland. We may be as big as Switzerland, but we don't have the money that Switzerland has. So one of the ideas that we had ever since, as far as I can remember, more than 100 years ago when the airplanes began to exist, we decided that that was a very pragmatic way as to have the interconnectivity of planes. And so some of these areas, such as, I have an anecdote for you. I didn't have it on my mind, but now you've popped it into my head. When I was very small, my father, who's a medical doctor, took me to one of the remote areas in Honduras. You could only get there by boat, walking, horseback riding, and by plane. We went there in the year of 1978. You weren't born, I'm sure of that. But in 1978, we went there. And my father was doing a study of our black people, our black culture, with another medical doctor from Great Britain. And we had to reach this area. The only way that we could do it was by plane, because it would have taken days for us to get there. So we went there on a small plane, monoplane, and we landed on a soccer field. Literally, when we landed on the soccer field, we went from one end of the field to the other end, and the pilot had to turn off the motor because as we were landing, there's a whole bunch of kids from the town that were running behind the plane, so it was very dangerous. But when we got out of the plane, the pilot gets out, my father gets out, another medical doctor gets out, and then I get out. Obviously, I was in the back seat of the plane. When I get out, the children that were malnourished, they were completely malnourished. And that was a shock for me to see something like that. Because as you can see, I eat a lot of hamburgers and hot dogs, so I'm not that skinny. And I was even fatter when I was a kid in 1978. As the tallest one of them all was a little girl, probably 11, 13 at the time. And she was walking towards me. My father was laughing. The mayor of the small town was laughing. The pilot was laughing at me. And I was scared. And as they were getting close to me, I was walking back. As I walked back, I hit the plane. And I started saying, "Papi, papi, daddy, daddy." And then he was laughing. And the small girl, who was the leader of the pack, walked up to me, and I couldn't walk any more backwards because the plane was right behind me. And the little girl grabbed my arm and said, "Que gordo, how fat this boy is." They had never seen a fat boy in their life. So basically, just to tell you a story as to why we do the interconnectivity. We do it by plane mostly, but we're building roads, and hopefully we're going to be building a train ride between the Caribbean and the Pacific side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you let us one final question, yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Amir from Tunisia. I have just one question. Which kind of business we can make in your beautiful country? Thank you.
Well, now we went from tourism to investment promotion. Yalla Habib Alvi. To tell you the truth, it's a very broad question. Let's say, for example, Honduras has, and I'm going to try to be very brief, we have several free trade agreements. We have one with Mexico. We have another one with Peru. We have one with the United States, which is called CAFTA-DR, which is a Central American Free Trade Agreement with the Dominican Republic. It used to be CAFTA-DR, but then they changed it for DR-CAFTA. So they call it Dr. CAFTA, Dominican Republic, DR. We also have the association agreement, which is in the framework of the integration process that we have in Central America. The association agreement with Europe and Central America is 6 member states, which are Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. We are all members of this association agreement with Europe. It's the only association agreement in existence on this planet Earth and at this point in time in history. There's no other agreement between region to region. Now, you're asking me what areas should you come and what investment opportunities there are. Through all these opportunities that we have, or these free trade agreement bridges, we have offers in many areas, such as, did you know that the only producing company in the region of the drywall is in Honduras? The only drywall company that produces drywall in the region is in Honduras. And it's a German company, Knauf. However, they're in competition with the American companies because we see that the American companies have to export those drywalls into Honduras, which makes it a much higher priced product. With the ones that are produced in Honduras, we're able to have quality and we're able to have good things at a cheap price. So, if Knauf is there and Lufthansa is looking towards Honduras by building an air bridge between Germany and Honduras through Panama with Copa Airlines, and we already have Siemens, and we already have BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Audi, and we have the textiles and apparel business. So we're beginning to build in Honduras automobile components for German cars. We're beginning to have businesses in the telecommunications business. In other words, if it's called call centers. So we have those call centers places in Honduras. And if a company is interested in setting up, they can set up there. Like when you call Microsoft because you have an IT problem, they will probably answer in India. And in our country, we have more than 500 schools that teach in English. So we're a very bilingual country, though the official language is Spanish. And on the islands, we speak English. But basically, We have the textiles and apparel business. We have European companies building infrastructure, roads especially. We have other companies such as Siemens that deal with IT. We have one of the most important networks of internet in the region with the rest of the Central American countries. We're in the middle. We have lots of opportunities for the services, tourism and services area. So there's plenty of land to build hotels. There's plenty of space for you to be a tour operator. But we're also interested in trying to find new areas of investments. To make a long story short, we have a lot of business opportunities that we have seen or we are giving in Honduras. And the most important one of them all is that as you buy stock of a company in the stock market, you buy it because that little piece of stock is going to give you confidence. If it gives you confidence, you buy it. Well, in Honduras, during the past 4 years, we have seen an increment in companies from all over the world. Germany, the US, Europe in general. Because we have built so much confidence that the investors look to Honduras as an investment opportunity. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for the excellent reflections. Unfortunately, we're doing 3 events simultaneously today, so I'm running back and forth for the different ones, but it's wonderful to have you back here again. As many of you may know, a very close friend of ours, member of the advisory board, close partner of the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy. We appreciate, despite ITB and the many responsibilities that you had this week, that you could come, and hopefully we've inspired maybe some new investments or new tourism in Honduras. So, again, it would be a second round of applause for the Ambassador of Honduras.